There's this idea that our mind is right here. But over the last 10, 20 years, science has said, no, that's not the case. So within our bodies, we have about, we have trillions of nerves, of neurons. And neurons fire, and they fire to each other, basically communicating. So when you have a gut feeling, it's actually, there's a thought that's in your stomach that's trying to tell you something. So our mind is just not something that's in our brain, but it's really something that's within our whole being. And you could say even vaster and bigger than that, like intuition. When we have intuition, you ever walk into a room and right away you kind of feel something. It's like, whoa. Or you know that somebody's going to call before they call. Right? Or all the time I'll drive into work and I'll think of somebody that I haven't seen in a while. And I'm like, where did that come from? And I walk in the door and they're sitting right there. My gosh, where'd you show up from? The whole thing is one of the things that you can learn a lot within especially the meditation practice, is neurons that fire together wire together. Do you ever hear a song and all of a sudden you start thinking about something that was like, it's like, where did that come from? Right? So a song, you hear the song and then it goes back to the wiring of that part of your life or that person or whatever it is. So that's the kind of way the mind is. It wires, and it wires a lot just into our past. And our past experiences, our past relationships. So that's how we're kind of wired, and that's how we tend to see things. That's how we tend to think about things. Within the practice of yoga, whether we're practicing the asana practice, which is hatha yoga, or whether we're sitting on a cushion, right, what we're working on doing is being able to actually just kind of pay attention. So my question was sincere with Allison, because I'll notice that I'll kind of breathe in and I'll breathe out and I'll be present, and then all of a sudden I'll just kind of drift off, start thinking about something, then I'll come back again. But there's this whole practice of just learning to just be present to what's happening. So one of the ways that yoga works with our minds is just learning to bring our attention to our breathing, right, into our physical body. And then as we bring our attention or our concentration to our breathing and to our physical body, it's kind of like a flashlight. It's like we're concentrating on something. We're just illuminating just one thing. And now as we continue to go through this process of just stabilizing our attention on our breath and our body, the mind kind of wanders and then it comes back. Did anybody notice the kind of draft that was coming in? Yeah. Did anybody notice a person that may have had to kind of adjust themselves? Yeah. So you start to kind of, that single pointed concentration can turn into what they call mindfulness, which is a kind of bigger, it's a bigger view. It's more illuminating, say, than just a spotlight, where it becomes bigger, where you become aware of what's happening within your environment. So one of the ways that yoga works with the mind is that we keep bringing our attention back to what we're experiencing. Right? We use the kind of reference guides of our eyes, right, our breath, and our body. And we train ourselves that when we stop, all of a sudden we drift off and then we come back again. We drift off and we come back again. And the more often that we come back, right, then the more kind of stable that we start to become.